Good evening, and I've got my notebook here. Welcome to this episode of John's All Thing Bows Sales Extravaganza. And I'm going to call this the 1, 2, 3 sale because I've got something the $100 range, $200 range, and the $300 range. We may as well start off with the 1. And what I have, I'm going to place this amazingly wonderful crossbow down within the $100 range. I have, as seen on TV or YouTube, the frog bow. Now this is short, 54 inches, knock to knock, recurve. It is made out of red oak. Furry accents, and hopefully the dye really never seems to show up in the videos true to form. This is more blood red than like beet red or fuchsia or anything. It's a nice, dark, deep red. And I have got that painted design on either side. I'm going to show you a close-up of the handle. It is actually stitched rawhide, deer rawhide. And I can't tell if it's artificial sinew or artificial sinew. I actually think that that's real sinew on the stitching. Little arrow pass. And a B50 string. I believe it's 12 strand. A honeybee pattern, isn't that fancy? Yellow and black. A short draw bow. Approximately 40 pounds at 22 inches. And you can certainly, if you have like long arms, like, I consider myself, you can get the 22 inch and anchor it just fine. It says 40 pounds at 23 inches. I would definitely go on the 22 inch side. It served me well, and as you saw, if you saw that video, actually penetrated, went through real 1/4 inch plywood with a field point, not just a cheesy Luan. It was actually really plywood. Luan is plywood, but it's... Anyway, I will include with this bow, it's a 3 feather fletch, if you can see that, and that's spiral of sinew, actual sinew, and a stone point, which is actually a relic, a native stone point. I'm not sure where it came from. I'm not into points. As far as identifying this came from southern Ohio, I don't know, but this is an actual native point from my collection in my box. And this one was unlabeled. And so here we have it, beautiful shooting bow. It would make a nice youth bow too, or in confined spaces. I have videos. I'm going to search through and include a link for this one. $125 with the arrow, with the bow. Shipping included within it. There's no extra shipping. Within the continental U.S., and I ship priority U.S. mail. And so you get both these. I would consider this, display, because you don't want to break that point, although you could use it. But there we go. Let me not block that. $125. I think it's a beautiful bow. It's a beautiful shooting bow. It's a fast bow, again, 54 inches knock to knock, approximately 40 pounds, with the arrow. I believe the shaft is Sitka spruce. I shall set this aside and go on to number 2. Now this one contrasts with the frog bow in that it's a big bow. The strings just stretch. It's a brand new string, so the brace height is a little lower. Red oak. And what I did is I had this really pretty dark rawhide, and I had a suggestion as far as decorating, maybe not painting it, but using sinew, and that's what I did. Let's around here. Finished with spar urethane. I'm going to put another coat on it. Very simple. I actually took this bow, and you can see it just a beautiful bend, absolutely symmetrical. I had a leather handle on here. It was my fancy style where it goes around, and then there's like a piece of leather with points on it. Doesn't matter because it's not on here. Lacing and a bead. And I was looking at that, and I didn't really care for that. I didn't care for that leather. I liked seeing this. Now this is a nice smooth surface. You get it, you could certainly get a wrap of, I would suggest brain tan leather because it would work well with this coloration. Just a simple wrap, or none. This is Sinew, but with the spar urethane, you can touch it and it's not going to be sticky. And maybe just put a leather arrow pass on here just to silence it. This is a big bow. I believe it's 68 inches, knock to knock. Let me do this so you can see it. Knock to knock. Narrow, deep handle. Gorgeous. And I was flight shooting this morning over 180 yards, which is pretty good. I don't have a chronograph, so I don't know feet per second, but it must be up there to throw an arrow. 550 grains, I believe. 180 yards. There's detail of tips. I'm going to be better about not moving things too fast. It's amazing. It has a good feel. Early European style. And with the Sinew and the dark rawhide, just amplifies that. Look at that. Oh, look at that bend. This is a heavy bow. 28 inches, it's pulling over 60 pounds. If you reduce it to 27 inches, it's not a compound bow, so you can reduce your draw length. And you saw that I'm able to anchor this at 22 inches. And so, here, you scamper on. And so you can adjust that, and the less you draw it, the less the weight is. But this is a big bow. I could have taken this and gotten it down below 50, but it's happy at this weight. Now, I did spar urethane this. It has a spar urethane finish, but this is, there's a bend. This would be really easy just using 80 grit and the sanding block, just because it's already tillered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even pressure, 80 grit. You could certainly reduce it. Wait, I would say if you wanted to get this and you wanted to do, easy tillering, it would be an easy job to tiller this as long as you just do even with sandpaper. Don't count on getting it below 50 pounds. It's going to be happiest. It's happy right now above 65 pounds, or at about 65 pounds at 28 inches. It's happy there. It would be happy at 50. It would be probably happy at 52 or 55. But if you want a big bow or just display, this thing is gorgeous with that Sinew. One last time to just whet your appetite. Okay, this one does not come with an arrow. It does come with a, let's see, B50, how many strands? I think I have, not 12, I might have 14 strands, B50, yellow and black. Yes, I do have 14. And it doesn't have a tied-on end like my paddle bows do, because this has, limbs that are parallel. So I do have one loop here, tied on end this side, so you can adjust the brace height, and it's just, like any other bow with a loop. There we go. And let me set this back here. It's at 68 inches. Knock to knock, it's over 60 pounds at 28 inches, although you could shoot at 20. You could shoot it at 26 inches, and it would be probably about 8 pounds less. And even $200 included, shipping included in that. That is a bargain. And I could put a leather wrap on it, but I didn't because it's so pretty with that Sinew. You could certainly, if you're going to do a leather wrap, brain tan buckskin, you could just go on eBay and get a strip and just wrap it on there. That would look muy lovely. One last view of very clean piece of wood. I wouldn't have even thought about, getting it into the 60s unless this was like almost flawless grain. A bias ring, but that's all right. And now the pasty resistance, what you've been waiting for. The crossbow. And as you can see, I made the new string for this. This is so cool. Rawhide, stitched rawhide. very strong way. I want, since you saw it, I did add mid-limb sinew details on that. There's that. Same on this side. And looking through here, look at that. It was a ginky stave, but basically 0 string follow. I've been using this 0 string follow because it's hard maple, it's sugar maple. So this is a nice prod. I have my tricky bolt clip, and as I found, if you fletch them up, doesn't need to be at the end on a longish bolt, you can have your 3-feathered fletch and still have that bolt clip. I'm going to talk about this in a bit. Bolt clip, horn, cow horn, trigger lock. This acts like a safety. And now I'm going to go through how you operate this after I talk about this. I don't know if you've ever seen a footed shaft, but this is birch, this is walnut, and the footed shaft is, this main shaft fits into the foreshaft fish mouth joint. And I made these, I've got a set of these things. And then the 3-feather fletch. And then when you make your bolts for this, have like a little fish mouth on there just so the string will hit it. This comes with it, 1 bolt. This is the one that I flight shot. 161 yards, I believe, and I'll put the link to that video on here. Now this also has a loop, and a good trick, silly animals, a good trick for that. Oh, first of all, when you're putting this on, instead of taking your lines, because you're going to have the same line that goes through this hole and then out the other side, instead of having them in even length, you know, on either side, it's a little trick, is that what you do is you just have it poke through like a little beyond this, and that's going to be like the finishing where you do your weave through here to tighten it. Just have it on one side a little longer, and so you got this long extent here. Do this, you wrap it around here and then back through, and when you wrap it through, cross over that little piece so it locks it in. Then back over here and then back through. Make sure that you're going over that short piece that only extends about this far. And now you can really reef on this because that one end is locked down, it's pinched between the wood and this line. You can really do a firm wrapping on this. You don't have to have 3 hands, 1 hand to hold this, another to hold the crossbow, another. You have locked that side end so you can just do your weave on there. That works out really well. Now, instead of having some tricky scheme for tying this knot, I figured out a really easy way to do it. And I'm going to actually brace this thing before your eyes. This is how we do it. This is gorgeous. And I can tell you, this is a bargain. Considering the work that went into this, the care, the detail work, and plus what I've learned over the course of my extensive 3 crossbow builds. Quite a development. Okay, so I have this, and I noticed that there is a black line here. That is where I want this to be when it's braced. And so, unfortunately, I have to be on this side. That the bottom tip is being blocked by my foot. And just put this butt end right against the wall. Same knot as how to string and unstring a paddle ball. Look at that. There we go. And now, since I have it tied, all I have to do is do the same thing but facing the other way, which I'm going to do with that loop. I didn't pull it back far enough so it's not fully braced, but it's braced enough to work. I don't want to tie you up too much. then see, I can just do that and undo it. Well, why don't I do it? Why don't I actually do it? I'm right-handed, so this is... There. Make sure my foot is planted. There we go. And as far as operations, make sure this is there. And then just pull it back. And I can hit that trigger and it's not going to dry fire. Whoa. I have no idea how much this is. It's enough to make it throw that bolt. 161 yards, which is pretty darn good. It is. I'm so blind. 65 pounds. 5 pounds heavier than I was aiming for, but extremely springy because it is hard maple. And so this is so beautiful. I'd like to charge more. I said 300, so I'm going to stick to that. 300, including a bolt. PayPal within the continental US. $300 even. With my mind, I might have said 325 like 5 minutes ago. 300 even. 200 even. A majestic bow. And for the frog bow, which has a lot of sentimental value, I was thinking that if you don't like the rabbit, you know, get some muskrat. I think that brown muskrat fur would work well on that. You know, it's all a learning experience. Have fun with it. The Mighty Frog Bow. And that's not all. I said that I would include, if you want, you know, I've got like a stack of these Primitive Archer magazines. I have 2 articles in here, and I would most certainly be happy to, oh, look at that. You know, autograph, especially this article. Heck, if you want 2, I'll give you 2. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this little episode of John is Selling. Have a good one. Thank you for your viewership, and especially thank you to everyone who's been purchasing my books. I've been averaging just about 1 sale a day, and it means a lot.